Strains in the West. Are Trump's policies reshaping global alliances? Hello, my name is Ashutosh Srivastava and I bring you the best from home and abroad. A growing shift is underway across Western alliances as political decisions, defense strategy, and ideological alignments begin to pull traditional partners in different directions. At the center of this evolving landscape is US President Donald Trump, whose policies and global posture are increasingly being seen as disruptive, not just by rivals but also by allies. Now, Canada signaled strategic distance as well recently. One of the clearest signs of this shift comes from Canada, where the Prime Minister has announced a move to reduce reliance on the United States for defense procurement. For decades, Canada and the US have shared deeply integrated military and defense spending ties. However, this new approach signals a deliberate effort to diversify partnerships and assert greater strategic independence. This is significant. It suggests that even close allies are beginning to rethink their dependence on Washington, not necessarily as a break, but as a hedge against uncertainty. As wider pattern of reassessment is needed, Canada's move reflects a broader trend. Across Europe and beyond, countries are reassessing their security strategy in response to shifting US priorities. Now, under Trump, foreign policy has often emphasized transactional relationships, focusing on cost, contributions, and immediate national gain. While this approach appeals to some domestic audiences, it has raised concerns among allies who traditionally relied on long-term stability and shared commitments. The result is a subtle but important shift. Allies are no longer taking alignment for granted. Pressure on Europe's right-wing leaders is also there. At the same time, political allies of Trump within Europe are facing growing scrutiny. In Italy, Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni is under increasing pressure from opposition leaders such as Angelo Bonelli and members of the Green Movement. Critics argue that Meloni's alignment with figures like Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu raises serious concerns, particularly in the context of ongoing conflicts and the allegations of civilian harm. They are calling for stronger accountability and adherence to international legal standards, including those outlined in the Geneva Conventions. Supporters, however, defend Meloni's stance as pragmatic, arguing that in a complex geopolitical environment, strong alliances and decisive leadership are necessary. Now, a divided Europe also presents. This debate highlights a deeper divide within Europe itself. On the one side are leaders and movements that favor strong alignment with the US and its current policies. On the other are voices pushing for a more independent European approach, one that balances alliances with greater autonomy and adherence to multilateral principles. The criticisms faced by Meloni show that alignment with Trump is no longer politically neutral in Europe. It is increasingly a point of contention. Is the Western alliance fracturing? This is a question. Taken together, these developments raise an important question as well. Are Western alliances also weakening? The answer is not straightforward. Institutions like NATO remain intact and cooperation continues in many areas. However, the tone and nature of these relationships are clearly changing. Trump's approach, seen by critics as confrontational or transactional, has introduced uncertainty into alliances that were once considered stable and predictable. Now, the result is allies are diversifying partnerships, domestic political debates over foreign policy are intensifying, ideological divides within the West are becoming more visible. The conclusion is that the West is not collapsing, but it is evolving. Canada's shift in defense strategy and the political pressure on leaders like Giorgia Meloni point to a broader recalibration of alliances. At the heart of this transformation is a growing tension between dependence and independence, loyalty and self-interest. Whether this leads to a more balanced global order or a more fragmented one will depend on how these relationships adapt in the months and years ahead. For now, one thing is clear. The era of unquestioned Western unity is being tested like never before. Thank you for watching.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.